Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I just wanted to give an updated plant tour of all the plants that I keep in my home. So I will try to briefly go over like what type of environment they're in, like what window they're in, like a north or south facing window, how often I water the plant, little facts like that might be helpful to you. I just want to also let you know that I no longer have my grow light set up. So it was kind of costly to run. It was like an extra $40 a month just to run my grow lights. And it is worth it, I guess, for some people, but for me, I like to live like amongst my plants. My grow lights were all in the basement, so I rarely even saw them unless I was watering them. So I really do prefer just having plants that are happy in the place I put them and I can just enjoy them when I go about my day. I don't have to go to the basement to look at my plants. So yeah, I do have some, so most of the plants that I kept under my grow light were succulents. I did keep a select few and I just have them like right over here in my windowsill and they seem to be doing pretty good, but I actually did sell and give away most of my succulents. So that was sad, but I just don't live in an area that they survive outside. That's the only way they can really thrive without a grow light in my environment. So yeah, maybe if it was in California they would do better, but I don't. Anyway, so that's pretty much all I have to say for now. I hope you enjoy the video, and if you have any comments, just leave them down below and I'll be sure to answer every comment. All right, hope you enjoy. Bye. All right guys, so we're gonna start with my Monstera deliciosa plant. Now you may notice this looks a little bit different than before because I did chop off some of the branches, and if you are interested in doing this, you just find an area that has an aerial root, and that is just a root that grows from the stem, and you just chop right below the root, like right here. You can see I chopped the branch off. So you want to use a clean knife, cut right below that root, and then put the plant in water, and I'll show you what that looks like in a little bit. But anyway, this Monstera deliciosa, it's sitting in a really bright room, but you can see it's not close to any windows in particular. That's just because the leaves will burn from the sun. So he's perfectly happy just sitting here. You can see my tripod. Just sitting here with all the bright light, and the leaves kind of face the windows. But yeah, he seems to be happy and he has a lot of room to grow. And I do prune him, like I mentioned, by cutting some branches off, just because he gets really big and I don't want him to be like ginormous. But that is him, and he's in a clay pot, which I absolutely love. Look how beautiful that is. I love the scallop detailing. So beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna show you a different area now. Okay, so like I mentioned, I chopped off some of the branches. This is an example. You can see if I go down here that there is a little root that's in the water. That's an aerial root, and roots will grow from that, and they might grow from the bottom too. I'm not really sure. This is an experiment, and I change the water every like 3 to 4 days. And yeah, once he has produced enough roots, I'm gonna drop him in some soil and hopefully he'll create his new plant, and I'll probably give him to friends or whoever wants him, friends or family. Over here we have some succulents on the windowsill. This is a south facing window, and they seem to be doing really well. They do kind of bend towards the light. Like you can see, this little chroma is kind of bending, but he's happy. He's not stretching out. This is a mazarin, I believe. A little baby one. Look how little he is. That's my hand. Teeny tiny. And then you can see he is like kind of bending towards the light, but he's still super pretty. And I do water them like every few days because they get a lot of sunshine here. And I have another one right here. I don't know if the color is really showing up on these guys, but they're absolutely beautiful. Oh, there you go. So that has like a purplish kind of color. I love the chubby leaves, and it's kind of like a beautiful shape. Let me show you this guy too. He also has really pretty color. It's kind of like a pinkish green color. Look how beautiful that is. He's doing pretty well in the window. So moving on, this is my little shelf. I have a little jade plant here. Jade plants are great because they don't require direct sunlight necessarily, and they do perfectly fine. But if you do put this little guy outside, this jade plant, he will develop like a red and yellow color, which is gorgeous. Okay, and then this plant, I think it's a pothos, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just love like the variegated leaves. Look how pretty. I just love the different shades of green and yellow. It's a beauty. I love this plant so much. It's gonna trail down this shelf and just look beautiful. Moving on. This, first of all, look how cute this table is. This is from an antique store, and I'm gonna refinish it because I'm not crazy about the way the woman painted it, but I think it's just so charming, and it's, you can't find furniture like this anymore. Anyway, moving on, we have my aloe vera plant in an Unearth Wonder pot. I love Unearth Wonder. She makes the best pottery, and it's just gorgeous with this plant. And then I have a little baby Pelia, probably pronouncing that wrong, has really neat round leaves that are flat, reminds me of lily pads. They're really easy to care for. And for some reason, I'm not exactly sure why this happens, but you can see on this little guy, the leaves are curling under. I'm not really sure why that's happening. Hopefully it will correct itself. I've heard different things online, like, oh, maybe it's getting too much light, not enough light, maybe you're overwatering it. I have no idea, but hopefully it corrects itself. But yeah, they don't really like being in direct sunlight, so hopefully they're happy here. I'm still experimenting. These plants are relatively new. Moving on, this is a little stand that I built myself. I have an aloe vera plant. Once again, this one's more of a chubby version of the one I just showed you. This is a passion vine, so I cannot wait till it blooms. It's gonna have like a purple and pink bloom, but it's just a really pretty one. Hopefully it blooms inside, I'm not sure. This is my spring cactus. I love the blooms on this guy. They're white and pink, but right now obviously he's not blooming, but he's still pretty to look at. And this is an east-facing window, so they get morning light. All right, this is one of my favorites. This is called a Hoya variegata tricolor, also known as a strawberries and cream plant, because you can see here that the leaves have like pink and white accents to the green leaves, and it's thriving. I gave it fertilizer, a slow-released fertilizer a few weeks ago, and it just has grown so big. And look how cute the pot is. This is yet again another Unearth Wonder pot. It's a custom pot with the pink and blue. I love it. And I like how it kind of matches the plant. But yeah, this has a really beautiful bloom as well. They have little pink flowers, so hopefully she will bloom in the spring maybe. Okay, so we're gonna move on. All right guys, so this is our living room. Again, it's another east-facing window. This is my orchid. It has been in bloom for about 5 or 6 months. It is loving life. So once these blooms, they naturally shed the blooms. Once they fall off, I will chop this stem down here, and that will allow more energy to be put into producing new blooms. So always chop your orchid once some people do say that you can keep the stem, but I prefer to chop it so it will produce a new stem and shoot up. All right, so over here I have 2 little suckies. They're both Unearth Wonder pots. I'm obsessed with her pottery. I think this is a type of aloe. Actually, I really have no idea. So if you have any idea what this is called, let me know. But I got it from Home Depot and I forget what it said on the tag. Okay, this is a bishop's cap. I think it's a cactus or a succulent, I'm not sure. I think it is a cactus, but it's not spiky. But I love the star shape, the shape of it. All right, so this guy is super cool. This is called the sensitive plant, so let me see if it will do a little show for you. Ready? So when you touch the leaf, watch what happens. Oh, is it not doing it? See, the leaves are kind of like closing. Sorry, it's not really focusing that well. Let's try. right here. Ready? There we go. See, he's closing up? They're very sensitive to touch. Now, I want you to keep in mind, if you happen to find a sensitive plant at the store, when I planted this, it had a horrible smell, and I was like, what is going on? Is there something dead in this like pot? They actually release an odor when you mess with the roots, and it smells awful, like body odor or something disgusting. They release that odor to protect themselves. So just maybe put a mask on if you buy one and repot it, because it smells awful, but once they are settled into the pot, they don't smell anymore. The only thing they do is when you touch the leaves, they kind of close up like that. And that's just a protective mechanism. But yeah, they like really bright light. Hopefully he's happy here. I just like having him in the living room. And I can enjoy the pottery as well by Unearth Wonder. Not sponsored, by the way, by her. I just love her so much. All right, so we're gonna move on. All right, so this is my Monstera deliciosa variegata. This is an awesome plant. I got it from Logi's, and I just love the creamy white foliage with the green. It's just such a gorgeous plant. I actually did notice a small little, I think it was an aphid on this morning. I hope there's not more than one, but I will keep an eye out, and if there is a problem, I'll probably spray it with insecticidal soap. I'm not sure if that will damage like the white leaves. So we will see. I don't really want to spray it with anything. This is a north-facing window. Now this type of Monstera especially does not want direct sunlight because that will burn the leaves. So I'm gonna experiment and see if it's happy here. So I read online that if this plant, this variety of Monstera, if it doesn't get enough light, it's gonna grow with more green leaves, and if it gets too much light, it'll grow more white leaves. So just kind of play it by ear. So if he just keeps producing green leaves, I'll move him to a brighter spot. But I think he's happy here at the moment. Next to him, I have some lithops, also known as living stones. They have some bites in them because they were outside before, but they seem to be doing fine right now. All right, and then this is my begonia. It's called My Special Angel. Now begonias are a little more sensitive. They like bright light, but they don't want like too much sun. I think it's about like part sun they love, so maybe 4 hours of direct sun a day, I believe. This is a west-facing window, so it gets the sun in the late afternoon. And then as you can see here, I have my pot above sitting on some pebbles, and I keep the pebbles covered in water because that will produce a humid environment for this plant. They like humidity, so that allows humidity to be around the plant, and it really helps the plant thrive. So I would recommend either a humidifier or the pebbles in water to create the right humidity for this little baby. And you can see it has gorgeous spots. They're like oh my, look how pretty that is. It's like a silver, looks like you just took a paintbrush with silver paint and just blotted the heck out of the leaves. But it's just beautiful. And look, you can see below that he has little babies, so he seems to be really happy. And this one produces a little pink flowers, so hopefully it will bloom for me, as long as it's happy. And then again, I have another Monstera cutting, and I'm gonna show you those roots. You can see here, look, there's a little white root coming from the aerial root. So I'm assuming more of that will happen, and then I can pot it in soil and create its own plant. All right, so we're gonna move on upstairs. Welcome to my bedroom. I have a few plants here. Again, I have another variety of passion vine. I believe this is the Maypop vine that produces a light pink flower, and I kind of have him wrapped around the window because this is getting pretty big. I just think it's so gorgeous though, I love it. And I'm using terracotta up here. Terracotta is great because it breathes. This, again, is another jade plant. It's the same type of jade plant you saw before, but he has some red on the tips because he's getting direct light. And I got him from the nursery a few weeks ago, so I think he still has the coloring from there. I hope he doesn't lose those red tips though, because I just find it so beautiful. But I love how this little jade looks like a tree, like a bunch of little trees. Look at all the little trunks. so cute. It's like a little forest. But I just love this plant so much. It's so underrated. And then again, by the windowsill, I have some succulents that prefer the bright light. So you can see this guy has a beautiful blue and pink tint. I think it's the same that we had downstairs. So I have 3 of the same here that receive that bright light so they don't stretch out. And this is a south-facing window. And they seem to be happy. Okay, I'm gonna show you I think it's my last plant. Last but not least, this is my fiddly fig. This is a west-facing window. Now you might ask, or you might be wondering, why is this fig tree by itself, like quarantined? Well, I found aphids on him a few weeks ago, and I sprayed the leaves both under and on the top to treat the aphids. They were like red little crawling bugs, and I used an insecticidal soap. I also put some treatment in the soil, and I watered it so that the roots soak up the treatment. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's meant for aphids, and hopefully they're dead, but I do not want to risk spreading them to the other plants, so he's going to stay in here until I am positive they're gone. But usually fiddly figs like a lot of bright indirect light, so I mean ideally he'd be in a southern exposed window, and I would just keep him kind of off to the side, which is where he was before. But I have those other plants in my room and I don't trust him just yet. I let him dry out completely between waterings, and he seems really happy. Pretty easy to take care of. They can be finicky. You do need to like dust the leaves from time to time so they can complete their photosynthesis, but other than that, I think they're pretty easy. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. Like I mentioned before, if you have any comments, just leave them down below if I need to explain anything further. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!